I learned that I suck at time management. I have learned that I'm the biggest procrastinator.
Time frames were quite hard. So I'm a busy mum. I have 3 children. I now have 2 extras that I'm looking after as well, and making sure that I set aside time to do my study was quite a bit of a struggle for me.
So I struggle with like making a routine and sticking to that and being a consistent studier. I was worried about that.
Yeah, so previously, the years past, or even the start of this year, I'm always the last minute guy. I leave everything to the last minute. I suggest not to do that because it's not going to help you in the long run. But that's how I've always grown up. I've always left one thing to the last minute.
It was challenging, like scheduling, like planning, like time management, like understanding that, yeah, you've got like a 60% assignment due next week, however you also have 2 30% ones, and if you don't do as well in those, it's going to be really hard for you to catch up at the end of the semester. So being able to sort of like manage and understand a tertiary schedule was massive. That was probably the biggest thing that I had to adjust in my normal routine.
For me, I'm not one of these people that can study at home, that can take work home and do it, or my brain just doesn't focus on that. So one of the things that I have been trying to do is like arrive early to get my head in the right space and do all my work on campus rather than taking stuff home, because if I take it home, it might not get done.
I think it is just focusing on what you're doing at the moment instead of looking at the big picture. Can be quite overwhelming. So if you look at it at one assignment at a time, so this is what I've got due at the moment, this is what I need to concentrate on, and taking advantage of your time.
When I got stressed a lot and got too much information or had too much on my mind, I'd kind of just like take a step back and kind of like, obviously you need breaks in study because it's no good to fry your brain, because and I kind of just took a step back and just set out one thing to do, focus on that. Once that's done, move on to the next thing. Don't worry about everything at one time, just focus on one thing. Once that's done, move on.
Something that students can do is set out like a schedule. Like for me, I have so much going on in my life, I need to kind of point out little spots where I can actually do assessments or do study and stuff, which has helped quite a lot, because if something does go awry, then I can just kind of change it a little bit and then be able to tweak it, so then I can do my assessment here rather than there, so then that time, because it's been pushed back or something, I can still get the study done, I can still get the assessments done.
Setting out more time for studying, getting to actually study a bit more about the assessment prior to it coming up. So just getting a lot of learning in there before it came up.
I think the big thing was realising that we had to study outside of our hours as well. So while we had study time in class, we also had time that I needed to allocate outside of class, and working that around my children and my life at home was quite a bit of a challenge for me. I think making sure that I set aside time while the kids were at school or after they'd gone to bed, making myself an area at home where I could just go and sit down and do my study was really important for me.
Difficulty in study, I guess it's just, kind of dedicating time to study rather than extracurricular activities. So I'd kind of have to say, oh no, sorry, I can't come to basketball or can't come to training because I have to study for this exam. And it was kind of like, oh damn, because you have to kind of give up things you love or studying for an exam. But in the end, it all pays off.
Just the kia tau, which means to calm down and just to be like, it's not the end of the world. You're going to get through it. You're going to find time to get those assessments done. You're going to find the time. Just make sure, ask teachers for extensions, get the help where you need it, learning services, student support, tutors. Yeah.